Hello, this is Sarah from FMicroFarm, and today I'm going to give you a little update on the Rabbitry since we have two litters with us right now. So we have Philly's litter here, which is actually missing the two blacks because what happened is Philly and Khaleesi down here had litters at the same time. Khaleesi only ended up with 4 live kits and Philly ended up with 8. So what I did was I took her 2 black ones and put them with Khaleesi. That way they were pretty obvious which ones were Philly's, because Khaleesi did not have any blacks. So anyway, here is Philly's litter. These are all the whites of hers. There's 6 ruby-eyed whites from Philly. And they're all learning to drink out of the water bottle. They're starting to eat grain and fodder. So I have them all on a grain and fodder diet right now. I'm not doing full fodder right now just because it's very difficult for me to keep up with that much fodder at a time. So I'm doing kind of a half fodder, half grain. And in my grain mix I have, you can't see it all because they pick out what they like. It's 1/3 oats, well let's say 2 part oats, 2 part barley seed, and 1 part black oil sunflower seed. So they're getting that, and I noticed that they put on weight a little faster, which is nice during the winter, because obviously you can't tell what temperature it is here right now, but it's about 32 or 33 degrees outside. So they're pretty cozy in their hutch right now, but the grains help keep them a little warmer during the winter, so that's what I'm feeding. And the fodder is sprouted barley fodder, so if you don't know what that is, you should head over to our website and check that out. It's very easy, as long as you have the right temperature to grow it in, and it's very economical, so you save a lot on feed. So those are Philly's babies. Philly is a really good mother. Really good mother. So she's doing great with her babies. They are almost 4 weeks old now. So this is about the time she will start weaning them, and conveniently that is also the time that the kits start drinking and eating on their own. So it kind of all happens simultaneously. Let's see, I'm trying not to get in the light here because I have the door open. But here are Khaleesi's kits. So the only ones that are not hers are the 2 blacks that are in the same cage. So she's kind of like the foster mom to the black ones. That way we don't have too many and putting stress on Philly, but then Khaleesi also has plenty of milk to go around. So each of them are taking care of raising 6 kits each, even though Philly has 8 and Khaleesi has 4. So that's just, it's just a very convenient way to get everybody to have the same amount of milk. Because if you think about it, if I had 8 kits in with Philly, at least 2 of those kits would get less milk than everybody else at any given time. And Khaleesi would have only 4 babies and would have so much milk that she'd have just gigantic fat rabbits. So everyone kind of gets an equal chance around here that way. So let's see, my pointer finger here. This kit in the middle is our fawn fox, and it's actually an unshowable color. Basically what it is it's a blue tortoiseshell agouti. So it has, you can see it's kind of white chest here, and you can see the blue on its nose and the blue on its ears, but then it's like an orange fawn on its back. So it's a really interesting color, but it's not a color that's sanctioned by ARBA, so you wouldn't be able to show it in a rabbit show. And then those are Khaleesi's 2 ruby-eyed whites, Philly's 2 blacks, and then there's an opal over here in the corner. Let me see if it will come kind of out towards us so we can see it. That's the opal right there. So an opal is like a chestnut. So Khaleesi here is a chestnut agouti, and an opal is a blue version of the chestnut. So the chestnut is a black, mainly black, and opal is mainly blue. So they're both agouti. There he is. So if you can tell, Khaleesi has a lot of black on her ears. Well, this kit will be exactly the same, except it will be blue. So it's kind of like a blue and brown stripe with a white belly, white around the ears, and eyes and nostrils. There's the fawn fox. We can see him a little better now. So I haven't done genders yet because they're just now 4 weeks. So I don't like to assess their genders until 6 weeks old because it gives me a much more firm guess, really. I mean, everything's always just a guess until they're full grown. But it gives me a much better chance of being correct at 6 weeks old. You can, there's ways to sex rabbits when they're only like a day or two old, but I found that it's not very dependable, it's not very accurate. So I like to do 6 weeks, that way at 6 weeks old I can assess their gender, I know their definite color, and then I can accept deposits, reservations on a rabbit, knowing exactly what and who they are. So it's just kind of a nice marker there at 6 weeks, and then 8 weeks they are old enough to leave the rabbitry. So at 8 weeks I know that they are fully weaned, they're capable of being on their own. I actually pull them out of the cage 2 at a time and separate them by sex at 6 weeks. So by 6 weeks they should be weaned, you know, completely by about 2 weeks over. So it's just a nice time to do all that. As soon as you can see, they just like hop in the dish and eat right out of it. They've already eaten all their fodder for the day, so they're just kind of munching on grains right now. And then my big boys up here. There's Toblerone. He was such a sweetie. Toblerone is a self-chocolate, so he's the father of Philly's litter here. And Bunnybee, let me get a better angle here so I'm not out of the sun. He has not been harvested yet, as you can tell. He's so full of wool right now. Bunnybee is the father of Khaleesi's litter. She's in there grooming her babies right now. So these are all the rabbits. If you read the blog, you would know that we lost Blackberry. She had her litter about a little over a month ago, and she died from basically childbirth. She died during the kindling. So her 2 surviving kits only lived to about 14 days, and then they died as well. So we're without another doe here. That's her cage. And then we have this extra cage that has hay dropped in it from Philly and her litter above. So I'm hoping to keep back 2 kits. I'm not really sure who. I'd really like to keep a black back, but I do have a lot of people interested in the blacks, just because out of, let's see, we have 12 rabbit babies right now. Only 4 of them are a color. The rest are all ruby-eyed whites. And for some reason, nobody seems to like white rabbits. So not as much of a novelty as a color is, I guess. So. So those are all the babies. Here, I'll open the door a little bit so we can see them a little better. Yes, Philly. So they're super healthy. I actually, out of these 2 litters this time, I had absolutely no nest box eye, which is basically when the nest box is dirty, or, you know, if just because they can get, you know, crusty eyes, they do. So I didn't have anybody with nest box eye this time, which was really nice. Means we had a super healthy litter. I haven't had any injuries, and you know, this is the time when they're being weaned by their mothers, which means that now is the time when you will have deaths for you know, stomach problems and digestion problems when they're transitioning from milk to, you know, transitioning from nursing to whole foods, whether that be pellets or grains or fodder. You always have, I think out of the whole time I've been breeding, I've only had 1 kit die, just from being generally stocked up. So this is about the time that that would normally happen. I don't anticipate on that happening because all these kits look pretty healthy. They all seem to be taking to the grain and the water just fine, so only time will tell. And that's another reason that I don't accept deposits or reservations on rabbit kits that I may be selling until 6 weeks, is because by 6 weeks you're pretty definite on who's going to live and who's not. So, I mean, by 6 weeks you will have seen a problem of some sort, and then you know that that's not a rabbit that you want to be leaving the rabbitry. You know, you don't want someone else to get stuck with a problem that you've foreseen already. So as you can see, they're just munching away, having a good day. So it is butt cold out here, so I'm going to go back inside and close their door back up so that they can stay warm out here. I keep rabbits and breed rabbits during the winter very frequently, so I'm getting pretty good at keeping them warm out here. I do have a heat lamp, you know, one of those ceramic red heat lights, but I usually don't use it, only when it gets really cold at night. It's only November, so we get all of our snow in about February or March. So I like to leave that on just to keep the water bottles from freezing, but other than that, they do just fine outside. So anyway, it is really cold out here, and I am going to go inside, and I'm going to post some pictures of these cuties today. So if you'd like to head on over to our website, we have more about these little guys and also the fodder that I've been talking about at FMicroFarm.com. And feel free to shoot me an email if you have any questions at FMicroFarm@gmail.com. Thanks, guys.